The OP for this story sent it in as a 2-page synopsis of what happened. It would have been very difficult to make a reasonable audio story out of it, so he asked if I could flesh it out into a compelling story that people would want to listen to. I agreed to take a shot at it, so here it is. It got a bit longer than I anticipated, so I broke this into 2 parts. I kept true to the events, but took some creative liberty in making the story a bit more alive. Some might find this a little too embellished. Please feel free to let me know. Story 46. My fiancé asked for an open relationship as some sort of test. Part 1 of 2. I met my fiancé, 34 female, 4 years ago, and it's been an exciting ride. I'll call my soon-to-be ex Judy. Our relationship has been pretty fun and exciting. I'm an IT professional, and Judy works with her mom at a family business. Judy moved into my house after I proposed. I've been able to continue working from home after the brunt of C19, and Judy was working under her mom's watchful eye. For a few weeks, Judy was a little distant, meaning that her attitude was the same, but she seemed to be pretty preoccupied with her phone and computer. Being that I'm not a complete noob to how people communicate, it's pretty clear that something was driving this newfound focus. Again, I wasn't too worried, as our relationship was still close and hadn't changed in any meaningful way. We were open with our accounts and have agreed that we will never lock each other out. We still didn't go out as much, since our first genuine attempt at a normal life ended up getting both of us sick. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad, and it only took a week for us to get back to feeling better. We emotionally connected and had a very nice physical relationship, so it seemed things were okay. As time progressed, Judy started to change in small ways. She was less likely to initiate intimacy and didn't go out of her way to be as fun when we were intimate. One day, I walked in on her, looking at vacation destinations, and commented to her that we should look for a romantic spot to take some time off. She seemed to freeze, then said, "Yeah, that would be nice." In retrospect, I should have caught on there was something wrong. Well, here's where it gets a little stupid and pretty much awesome. One day, I got the mail and a credit card bill was waiting. Part of my responsibility is to handle paying bills, including writing a check for Judy's credit card bill. I pay mine online, but Judy likes to get the bill every month. It's not a huge deal. I write a few checks monthly. Well, I grabbed the checkbook. We have a shared account that we agreed to put in a set amount each month to cover stuff like bills. I'm surprised about the credit card amount, since it's a few $1,000s more than last month, and she never mentioned anything that costs that much. I looked through the bill and found that the credit card had a charge from Expedia on it that made up the lion's share of the bill. This is unexpected, but I was thinking that she might surprise me with a trip after that conversation about taking some time off together. I didn't want to spoil her surprise, so I wrote out a check and thought nothing more of it. Let her have her little surprise. Over the next month or so, she's getting a bit more reserved and less interested in us time, and I'm getting a little frustrated. Like most women, Judy is all about dates. She never misses a birthday or Valentine's, and she definitely doesn't forget our anniversary. Normally, she's all over me to talk about what we want to do and where we will have dinner, but apparently not this year. I don't want to be in the doghouse, so I purchased some flowers, chocolate, and a new pair of nice earrings, and made a reservation for us at an expensive Italian restaurant she likes. I'm ready. Judy gets up that day, rolls out of bed, jumps into the shower, and leaves for work without saying anything to me other than the obligatory good morning. I'm annoyed she forgot. So there I am, waiting for her to get off work, and she's a no-show. Sometimes she works late to help her mother close the store, but come on. I texted her to see when she'd be home, and I didn't get a reply in the next few minutes. I opened up the Find My Friends app. Our extended family shares our location as a fun way of just seeing where everyone is, and her location times out. The last place she was while it was updating was halfway across town. I dial her number and let it ring until her voicemail picks up. I calmly say, "Today is our anniversary, and we have plans. Where are you and who are you with?" Then I hang up. It only takes a minute or so before she responds via text, "I have to work late to help Mom." Now I know something is going on, so I reply to the text and say, "You should listen to my voicemail." A few minutes later, she calls my phone and is freaking out. "I know it's our anniversary, but I had to stay late. I'll be home in 30 minutes. I took a chance and lied. The funny thing is that your location is off on your phone, and your mom is already closed up. She pauses and then starts going off on me about trust. I interrupted her and said, "If you don't turn on your location setting right now and come home in the next 15 minutes, you can stay at your mom's." Needless to say, she doesn't turn on her location until she's almost home about 35 minutes later. She calls my bluff on staying with her mom and storms into the house, yelling at me about making demands on her and cyber-stalking her. This is the person who thought it would be great to have everyone on Find My Friends. Once she winds down, I ask her when she left work, and she loses her mind again. I take my phone out right in front of her and start dialing. Her mom picks up almost immediately and says, "Hi guys, what's up?" As I speak, Judy interrupts and starts talking over me to her mom, saying I'm stalking her. Her mom is taken aback and says, "What are you talking about?" I spoke over Judy and said, "She had to stay late with you and close the store." Her mom says we closed the store a few hours ago as normal. Then she asked Judy, "Where have you been?" Judy walks out the door, yelling over her shoulder that she doesn't have to report to anyone. I told her mom sorry and told her that today was our anniversary and that she completely forgot. When I tried to reach her, she wasn't answering, her location was turned off, and it took her 35 minutes to drive home. Her mom says she'll talk to Judy and get her to open up. Never heard back on any of that and have not spoken to her mom since. Judy ignored me for the rest of the night and went to sleep. The next day she was emotionally in a better place and apologized to me, saying that she had forgotten our anniversary and gone out to see one of her old friends. She was embarrassed when I brought it up. She got defensive and regretted not being more mature. Then she launched into her feelings about being locked up in the house for so long, and even though she loved me, she needs some time to do things she wants to do, like see friends and hang out, etc. It's a good story, almost like she had a full night to develop it and give it some basic polish. I asked her what friends she went to see, and she got tense and told some friends she met from the businesses around her mom's store. They would have lunch together and get a coffee on breaks. She pauses, and I can see her take a deep breath and then say, "I love you, but I think I need time to be..." I interrupt with, "You're breaking up with me and throwing our relationship away?" She vehemently objects and says, No, I love you. I just need some time for myself. I just want to pause us until I can catch my breath." "And how long do you think you need for this break?" I demanded. I'm angry, but more than anything, I feel betrayed. She's up to something, and I have no doubt that one of her new friends is a guy she's interested in. "And where are you going to be living during this break?" She looked really confused and said, "Here with you. I love you. I just need a break." I can see where this is going and ask her, "Okay, let's say we take this break. What are the rules?" She pauses and then says, "Well, no deep relationships outside of ours and that we take precautions if we are with anyone else," and looking into my face says we don't hurt each other by talking about anything in the break. I can tell she's super tense. Me, so you want an open relationship for an undefined time, and you want to continue to live here with me while having the option of sex with someone else? It's obvious that I'm furious, so she starts crying and says that's such an unfair way of looking at it. She claims she needs a couple of months before she feels she can commit back to us. I look at her with disgust and tell her, "Okay, you'll get your time, but as a consequence of this, I have lost trust in our relationship, and I'm calling off our engagement while this is going on. We'll have to reset and start over completely." She starts bawling and saying, sorry, no, I don't want that. I just want to take a break." I told her she had made her choice and that her actions during this break would determine if we moved forward with our relationship. She's still crying and says she loves me and wants us to marry. "Okay, these are my rules, which are not negotiable." She hesitantly nods, wiping tears. "You will not ever bring someone into my home. If you do, I will kick you out immediately. You must tell anyone you are with that you are in a relationship. No secret. Anything you do will become an option for me. If you lie about anything and I find out about it, we are done. If it lasts longer than 2 months, I will send your stuff to your mom and we will be finished as a couple forever." This is a one-time break. It will never happen again. So if you ask down the road, the answer will be no, and I expect you to move out and never try to communicate with me again. You will pay exactly half of all our shared bills moving forward. Starting now, you will pay all your personal expenses with your money. I want to be clear with you that I may not take you back. We'll have to see how it goes. No matter what happens, I will not marry you without a prenup. She bawled the entire time I was speaking, moaning, "No, no, please don't say that." If we do get married, I will conduct pre-birth DNA testing on all children we have before birth to ensure I am their biological father. She continued sobbing, pleading for me to stop. If you do have sex with someone, or I feel you are deceiving me, I reserve the right to cancel our agreement. This will not be a cheat-a-thon. I will not touch you during this break until you've been medically checked for STDs after the break. This shocks her, and I can see she's mad. I made one final demand and held out my hand. "Give me the ring. If you someday earn it back, I'll return it." Finally speechless, she reluctantly took the ring off and handed it to me. I walked out of the room, knowing it was over. Later that week, I sold it to a pawn shop for a third of the value and considered it a win. For the rest of that night, Judy was walking on eggs. She tried to initiate intimacy, but I said, "Not going to happen," and walked away. I was curious to see what she was expecting for sleeping arrangements. She didn't look like she would move out of the bedroom, so I moved to the office, since it had a daybed. Judy wanted to say something, but didn't. While I was working, my mind was sorting through some of the past red flags in our relationship, and it dawned on me that a trip was planned. Our shared Expedia account was in Judy's name since she planned the vacation. She hadn't changed the password, and there was a single ticket to Maui and a hotel reservation overlooking the ocean in Kaanapali. The reservation was for a month from now. She had this planned. I'm really curious about who she's going with, but they must have booked their own ticket. I print out the itinerary and start thinking about what to do. I plan to wait a week or so and stake out Judy's work to see who she was meeting up with for lunch and breaks. As it turns out, I didn't have to. 2 days later, there was a knock on my door. I opened the door, and an Asian woman was standing there with a pissed-off look. She looked at me and took a deep breath. "Hi, my name is Emiko, 28F, and I think my husband Derek, 27 male, is having an affair with your wife." That was the last straw. Judy was now officially my ex-fiancé. After I shook off the shock, I introduced myself and asked her to come in. Emiko is beautiful. Don't get me wrong, Judy is very attractive with her blonde hair, gray eyes, and curvy body, but Emiko is stunning. I asked her to sit in the kitchen and pulled out some bottled water. I had a feeling we'd be talking for a while. After taking a grateful drink of water, she explained that she had started seeing out-of-the-ordinary charges on credit cards for restaurants and some questionable behavior from her husband. This all ultimately led to her having a friend install a GPS tracking device in his car, and funny enough, a number of webcams around the house. One of those had recorded her husband having cyber sessions on his laptop with a woman. Apparently he, and I'm assuming my fiancé, were having a full-on emotional affair since this was before Judy dropped her need for a break. She explained that her husband, Derek, works as a shop manager in the same complex as Judy's mom's store. I nod and say Judy works in the same area. Emiko had a sad little smile and said she was happy for me that I already knew or suspected what was going on. She had been following Derek around and finally got a look at Judy and decided to follow her home. That was the night I had forced the issue with Judy. It was my turn, so I walked Emiko through the events of the last couple of months and showed her the vacation plans and itinerary. She laughed and said she wished to go to Hawaii for a business trip. Then she explained that Derek had told her there was a company business trip that he'd be going on during that same time period at the company HQ in Florida. I asked Emiko what her plans were and if she would confront Derek. She shrugged and said she didn't know what to do. She said that Derek had cheated on her when they first dated and that she had forced a prenup before the wedding. This is one of the reasons her policy was never to trust him to do the right thing. Then she looked at me and laughed out loud. Maybe we should take a trip out to Maui and check out the sights. She wanted to catch them in the act and get real proof so there wouldn't be any more of his gaslighting or trying to wordsmith his way out of it. End part 1, part 2 is coming soon.
I only post new and unique content. Please like and subscribe.